Welcome to my little corner of the internet, where we celebrate creativity and growth. Thank you for choosing our video on Heinrich Agathon Bernstein. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. Heinrich Agathon Bernstein, 22 September 1828 – 19 April 1865, was a German naturalist, zoologist and explorer from Breslau, Wrocław. In this section, we'll be peeling back the layers of early years to reveal its true essence. Heinrich Agathon Bernstein was born on 22 September 1828 in Breslau, modern-day Wrocław, Lower Silesia, Poland, and died on 19 April 1865 at Batu Raja Amput Islands, West Papua, Indonesia. His father, Professor Georg Heinrich Bernstein, taught theology and Oriental languages at Breslau University. By 1840, Heinrich had started at the gymnasium in Wrocław Maria Magdalena, but after 2 years he departed with his parents and a teacher for a year long in Italy. When returned to Wrocław, he studied for 3.5 years at the Saxion State School at Pforta, and proceeded to St. Elizabeth's Gymnasium in Breslau and finished his education in 1849. In October 1849, he began studying medicine at the University at Wrocław and became a doctor there on 16 November 1853 with his thesis De Anatomia Carvorum Pars Prima Ostologia. Johann Ludwig Christian Karl Gravenhurst, whom he met at the university, was largely responsible for drawing out Bernstein's interest in natural history. From 1852, Bernstein traveled extensively, visiting Poland, Austria, Hungary and France. Then in early 1854 he departed to the Netherlands and never returned to Germany again. Let's now turn our attention to time in the Netherlands and departure to Indonesia and examine its role within a larger context. Arriving in the Netherlands, Bernstein visited the large natural history collections at Leiden. Here he met Comrade Jacob Temminck, director of the museum at Leiden, and soon enough he was ready to fulfill his dream to go to the tropics. To get to Indonesia, he volunteered for the Dutch army as medical specialist and gained his passage as the ship's doctor, departing on 18 June 1854. But his contract bound him to return soon afterwards. Once back in Leiden, he took the exam for physician 16 April 1855, and in doing so gained some exclusive rights to work in the overseas possessions of the Netherlands. In this section, we'll be shedding light on time in Indonesia before his expeditions and its impact on our understanding of the subject. On 10 September 1855, Bernstein arrived again in Java. Here he immediately became the first physician of the health establishment at Godok near Buitenzorg Bogor, and remained in post until 31 October 1860. Directly after arriving in Indonesia, Bernstein began collecting either alone or with local guides, and on 8 October 1856 the first consignment of skins arrived at Leiden, some 300 birds. Bernstein also started publishing articles in Journal für Ornithology. His articles there between on the nests and eggs of Javanese birds so impressed Hermann Schlegel, director of the museum at Leiden, that he invited Bernstein to work for the museum to collect zoological items. Bernstein was duly appointed in March 1859 as official collector for the Dutch government, and in this new role he began to collect a wide range of both flora now in the herbaria of Wrocław and fauna. In November 1860 he got permission from the Governor-Generals Charles Ferdinand Perhoud and his successor Ludolf and Jan Sloot van der Biel. They granted him to travel to New Guinea. He was the first researcher in this region after the departure from Franz Wilhelm Jungmann and the death of Carl Anton Ludwig Rieschwener in 1851. On 7 November Bernstein departed for the Moluccas, arriving a month later at Ternate Halmahera, where he collected birds for 8 days and set up home. As we enter this new phase, let's uncover the impact of Bernstein's various expeditions in Indonesia on our broader topic. Analyzing the specimens present within the museum at Leiden, Bernstein made no less than 9 separate trips from Ternate. Ternate was used as a base for rebuilding boats, writing letters mostly to Hermann Schlegel and sending specimens to Leiden. Schlegel was always urging Bernstein to keep ahead of Alfred Russel Wallace, who was also collecting at that time in the area. The rivalry was strong but gentlemanly. On 6 February 1861, Wallace wrote in a letter from Dili, Timor, "The Dutch have just sent out a collector for the Leiden Museum to the Moluccas. He is now at Ternate, and goes to spend 2 years in Gilolo and Batchian, and then to North Guinea. He will, of course, having 4 hunters constantly employed, and not being obliged to make his collecting pay expenses, do much more than I have been able to do, but I think I have got the cream of it all. His name is Bernstein. He has resided long in Java, as doctor at a sanatorium, and tells me he has already sent large collections to Leiden, including the nests and eggs of more than 100 species of birds. Are these yet arranged and exhibited? They must form a most interesting collection." He indicates in this letter that he had met Bernstein, and in a later one he confirmed this. At various times Bernstein is mentioned in Wallace's Malay Archipelago, for example in the chapter on Gilolono Halmahera in Volume II and in chapter 38 about the birds of paradise. Trip 1, 22 December I and March 1861. Trip 2, 25 June 1861, 10 October 1861. Trip 3, October February 1862. Trip 4, April 1862. Trip 5, mid-July September 1862. Trip 6, 7 November 1862, 18 July 1863. Trip 7, September November 1863. Trip 8, January I and April 1864. Trip 9, 18 October 1864, 19 April 1865. Bernstein died on Batanta at 19 April 1865 of a liver abscess, and was buried on Ternate. In this section, we'll be exploring birds named for Heinrich Bernstein. Chinese crested terns, Sterna bernsteini Schlegel 1863, scarlet-breasted fruit dove, Tilinopus bernsteini Schlegel 1863, black-billed cowcul Centropus bernsteini Schlegel 1866, Sulus scrubfol Megapodius bernsteini Schlegel 1866, red-bellied Pitapita bernsteini Jung 1958, Bernstein's red lory Eosporni bernsteini Rosenberg 1863, Bernstein's black lory Chocoxita Atra bernsteini Rosenberg 1861. Bernstein is also commemorated in the lowland ringtail possum Pseudochirillus canescens bernsteini and with an insect, the red lacewing Cephosius sidic bernsteini. In this segment, we'll be unraveling the complexities of birds named by Bernstein and exploring its multifaceted nature. Long-billed Honiata melilestis megarinchus vagans Bernstein 1864, paradise crow Lycocrax Pyrhopterus obensis Bernstein 1864, brown-headed crow Corvus fushicopilus megarinchus Bernstein 1864. If you have any suggestions for future videos, feel free to drop them in the comments section.